All right, rims, you. Welcome back. Here we are. Motor is in, transmission is in, turbo is on. Yeah, a lot has happened since the last update. So I will start with the engine went back in. Transmission is bolted up to it, obviously. I throw them in one shot. It's way easier. I'm too old to be bench pressing transmissions in. I'm not that strong. And yeah, I mean, you take the front core support on and just fire it in one shot. Way easier. So there's a 740 turbo clutch on there now. Hopefully that will act as the fusible link for the M47. I don't know how long it'll last, but I mean, maybe I'll do a how-to on T5 swaps. I'm pretty sure there's a few out there already, but yeah, K24 turbo is on. It is red for extra speed and horse ponies. We've got a downpipe built, 3-inch all the way. Actually, the whole exhaust is built, well, tacked together. MAF is done. So when this car's NA, MAF chills over here. You can either cut the wires, pull it back through, and shove it out somewhere over here. In my case, I just extended it, ran it down with some other loom, and it's over there on the inlet of the turbo. Make sure the arrow goes the right way. This is the 016 one for now. I just have the 30-pound injectors from a Ford turbo coupe in there now, the high impedance ones. So I didn't have to splice in the resistor pack. I'm just going to set this at wastegate and see what it makes, and hopefully I have enough fuel and everything to do it. If I need to, I can do, you can play around, you can do different air mass meters, different injectors, you can do chips, you can do all that stuff. I don't want to get too involved in that for now, so stock MAF, 30-pound injectors, which I think stock turbo ones are 30 pounds. These are just the high impedance versus the low impedance. So yeah, I have the wastegate actuator down at the bottom there, but you know, nothing too complex. I'll crawl under there a little bit and you can hear me roll around, and I'll try and get the trouble light and show you what's going on. So I have the NPR tucked in there too. You can't really see it, but it's chilling. You know, this is why people like them, because they pretty much clear the rad on both sides and fit in there real nice, and they're nice and big. So yeah, next up on the list is to start, you know, making some squiggly pipes to connect to the throttle body inlet, and then obviously to the turbo inlet. So one thing I did is the PCV. People get kind of confused here. So you can't vent it where it was stock because it's under boost. So originally, I think the crankcase vent comes off the flame trap, which is down there, comes around here, and then into the intake. Obviously, this is going to have boost going through it when you have your foot down, which will be all the time, right? Of course. So you have to move it over. Stock turbo cars have this weird, gross foam pipe thing that goes to the inlet of the turbo. I made this out of some aluminum I bent up just because it looks nicer, and you know, it's a show car, right? Obviously, you can see by missing trim everywhere, you know, this thing's going to be mint. So no, but I wanted something nicer on the engine base, so that will go tie into there and make it all fancy and blingy. The stock idler motor I will tap into here, into this pipe, so the idle air motor control and everything will work, so it'll start fine cold, and you don't have to sit with your foot on the gas, because you know, it's not a Mega Squirt car that runs like shit when it's cold. It's a factory turbo car. It should run great all the time, in theory. So up at the front, not too much else. I'm waiting to get some lines built. I have the oil feed for the turbo, and that's going to come down off the block here. I'm going to just get hydraulic line made, because it's cheap, and you know, handle like 4,000 psi or whatever excavators and backhoes run at. So I like hydraulic line because it's cheap and easy, and I've done AN in the past, but it's expensive. You know, it looks blingy, but whatever. Hydraulic hose works great, and I'm going to do it for the drain too. So I will scramble around underneath and show you what's going on. But yeah, as far as, you know, making an inlet for your turbo, you can get as fancy as you want. I just used some 2x headline around, clamped the MAF to that, clamped an air filter to the MAF, I'll probably, it's pretty secure in there. I might make a bracket just because, you know, this is, you don't want everything bouncing around in there. But this should make lots of cool noises, and you know, I might build a heat shield for it so it sucks air just from the front. But you know, that's up to you. You do you. So we'll go crawl under this thing. I'll see how the light picks up here. Oh, that's actually not terrible. Huh, sweet. All right, so we've got, you can see the oil drain tying into there. That will be another piece of hydraulic hose. It looks off-center, but it's just the angle, trust me. You can see the wastegate a little bit better up there, so, you know, straight line. You can see some coolant lines as well. Those are all tied in now. That's really about all there is exciting. The exhaust is coming down here, 3-inch flexi joint V-bands. Thank you, Amazon. And then it chills along here. I tucked it up and over and put the dump. So look at those beautiful welds. Man, who did those? Oh, Ray Charles with his feet? Whatever. If they don't leak, that's cool. So we've got Dumpy Boy here. So when I apply vacuum, it'll be whap, and then not, it'll be shh. But it shouldn't be too quiet because I've got MagnaFlow mufflers. I like them. Ignore the baling wire. I'm waiting to order my exhaust hangers to come in. They're on order. That was just for mock-up. So 3-inch MagnaFlow resonator up and over the axle because we're not lazy here. You could go under the axle, but that's dumb. So, oh wow, pinion seal's leaking. I'm gonna file under that. Maybe problems. At the back, she comes through, continues up and over axle, and a MagnaFlow muffler, and then out the butt. So I've done this same setup on 2 other cars. I really like the way the MagnaFlow stuff sounds. It's not kind of tinny and Honda-y. So diff is open for traction mods. You know what's up. So yeah, hopefully that exhaust should work pretty good. I've got these 8-inch, I think they are. They look like trailer rims, but I think they were on a 240 or something like that. I might sandblast them, and you know, they're stretched some, what are these, 195s I think. I'll see how it looks with weight on it. Kind of digging it, but we'll see with it with weight on it. I don't want it to be too heaty, so cops here love tire stretch and any kind of, you know, fun or personality in your vehicles. Not. So yeah, it is very close to starting now. I have to do my intercooler pipes. I have to tiddle up a little coolant line and plug, and then I have to fill it with coolant. Do my oil feed and oil drain, my oil cooler lines. That little blue adapter I don't think I'm going to use. I don't really like the way its ports are designed inside, so I actually have a B21 FT oil cooler setup I'm going to steal from my brother's car, which is now my car, that I will stick on there. And then yeah, what else do I have left? Oh heck, there's not a lot at all, so it's very close. Just the oil and coolant lines, and then fill it up, crank it over, pull that exhaust off, weld it up, weld the diff, put a spool in the diff, and frick, yeah, that's pretty close now. So only other thing I was going to touch on was it's putting in a wideband, because this car in theory has a stock computers, stock size injectors, stock size MAF. Yes, the turbo is bigger, it's going to flow more air, but you know, and I set it on wastegate pressure. If it makes like 6 or 8 pounds, I mean, that's well within what it's capable of handling. I do want to put one in before I really start honking on it. I also want to do water methanol setup, but that's for another day. But I might cruise it around without a wideband, which I've had a wideband in everything I own, so it kind of sketches me out. But again, like, I don't really care what anyone else says. If you're going to tune one of these cars, or any car for that matter, put a freaking wideband in it. That's like, should be upgrade 1 after you make sure you know it's actually in good running order. So many people are like, oh, you know, I'll hear knock and ping before it happens, and then they don't pay attention, and they're trying to pass their friend on the highway, get excited, and then clatter clatter boom, and oh, rod through the block or melt down a ringland, and oh, why'd it blow up? So yeah, put a wideband in it. Don't do what I'm doing right now. I mean, it's probably going to get one very soon, but for the initial startup and drive around, I'm probably just going to cruise around and see what it makes for boost and then go from there. But yeah, take that with a grain of salt, I guess. You know, Volvo didn't put one in from factory, so they just have the factory narrowband that does the closed loop fueling and stuff like that, and then you put your foot down, it goes into open loop and, you know, references the maps in the computer. So this one has the 954 940 ECU and the 148 EZK. I ordered a 207 EZK, which is the chippable one, so that should be here. I might pop that in soon, and then I have the opportunity to play with performance chips, which again is something I've never done. It's always just been straight standalone, which is a stupid way to learn how to tune cars. I kind of did it backwards, but anyways, I'm really excited to fire this one up with stock management. You know, as dull as that sounds, you know, the opportunity of having a car that cold starts fine, idles fine, and, you know, does all these weird things that the factory spends thousands of hours tuning the factory with a big budget that, you know, I'm trying to do in my garage, you know, one time a day in the winter. So it's kind of appealing to just be able to turn the key and drive. So I'm yeah, I mean, a car that starts and idles excites me. You know, power is whatever power, but cold start, yeah, that'd be sweet. So you know, not that my cars were that terrible, it's just, you know, refinement, right? Oh, it's so refined. Yeah. Oh yeah, my headlight popped out. I have to glue that back in. So I kicked it when I got in the engine bay. So don't do that. But yeah, that's where we are for now. Hopefully the next video will be it starting and running, and, you know, hopefully not seizing.